I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
Finally, The Rock has come back. I hate this idea that you're the best.
And if you're not down with that, we got you first for ya!
I'm the best in the world.
I fight at WrestleMania for the very, very small percentage of people that walk this planet and say I am proud to be, I'm sorry, a professional wrestler.
Oops, I'm breaking the fourth wall.
It's Podcast of the Immortals with your hosts, Matt Bush and Jimmy Bellamy.
Enough is enough. Oh, you already hit record?
Yeah, I hit record, yeah. Welcome to episode 28 of Podcast of the Immortals. I'm Matt Bush.
I'm Jimmy Bellamy.
How's it going?
It's going well.
Good.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. I worked a little bit today, watched some wrestling last night. All good. Well, this is our 28th episode, and we started a new kind of like Wrestle News segment last week. Well, I mean, we kind of touched on stuff, but I really liked our Wrestle News segment, so I think we're going to keep going with that today. And I have some really, really interesting news that I kind of teased to you before we went on the air, and you don't know about this.
I avoided any rumors or any non-show stuff this past week just because I wanted to focus on the TV and then also add to the authenticity of this by being surprised.
Well, I kind of like that you don't know, because going in, I'm excited about this because it involves my favorite wrestler, Bill Golberg. Oh God! Have you heard about this?
No. I did see a headline that said Bill Goldberg talks possible return and trashes Ryback, and that's all I saw. That's it.
Well, first off, I'll get to that in a second. Goldberg might be included as a downloadable character in WWE 2K14.
Yeah, that should happen.
Yeah,
I mean, if you look at what they're doing, year after year, they recycle kind of the same old bullshit all the time.
Yep.
And here's what I want to stop. Okay, it was 13, 14 years ago when you had No Mercy and WrestleMania 2000. They got it right back then, where you have one character, they have 4 outfits or personas that you can edit freely as you want. In some cases, and they did this with NWO, WCW, Revenge. You could do it. They would have old school Scott Steiner with the mullet, and then they would have blonde haired goateed Scott Steiner. And now they've gone ass backwards, and they give you this cookie cutter, like, here's your guy or gal, and you can just change their colors, and that's it. You can't edit their outfits. Where like back in those other
their
games,
hair.
Yeah,
like I would love to give Daniel Bryan a beard. Can't.
So in the WWF versions of those games, you could change everything. You could change the height and weight of the person. You could change their face. You could change their skin color. I mean, you could change everything about their physical appearance. And in this, not so much. So now they're having multiple characters, like American Badass Undertaker, and then they have a separate Undertaker. That's stupid. Like this last game, WWE 13, they have 2 Litas, and they're virtually the same. Do you really need 2 Litas? She's not even on the active roster.
It's like 99 Lita and current day Lita, and they look exactly
I think it was like Lita 00 for accuracy's sake, but whatever. It's just, why are you doing this? Just go back to what you were doing a decade plus ago, back when AKI was involved.
Yeah, like I really like their inclusion, but I wish it was just the same character with a different skin. Because then when you're doing like WWE Universe on the games, you end up having like 2 Trishes battling it out for the women's champion. Well, I don't want that, but I want both of them in the game. You know, what you end up doing is having one like not even part of your universe. Like there's 3 Triple H's. I would have loved to play the crap out of them, but you know, I don't want Triple H versus Triple H versus Triple H for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania.
Well, and on top of that, I mean, if they use the lame excuse of, well, you know, some of those guys have different moves and different taunt sets, well, then set different moves and different taunts for each of the 4 skins, as you said,
Yeah.
then do that. Fine. Or let people, like you can in the game, edit the moves, which you could not do in No Mercy. You could not edit moves and taunts. You would have to create a guy to do that.
Yeah.
But in this case, people are just going to have to deal with it. And that leads me, before we go any further on this, this is loosely related to this. One thing that's bothering me more and more is what I'm seeing on social media sites, like Facebook, for example. I don't know how a big business, or I guess a national or international business, cannot, I guess, how they can succeed on Facebook or on social media, because what ends up happening is everything that gets posted by that company, it just gets shit on by people who like it, and I'm using air quotes here, liking it on Facebook. Like everything WWE or 2K Sports is posting about this new WWE game, all you get is a list of people saying, well, this guy sucks, or this guy it doesn't even look like him, or you need to do this, or you should have done this. It's like, fuck off. I mean, I just get pissed at that. And a friend of mine brought that up to me today when I was ranting, and he said, the sad thing is like 95% of the people who like them or whatever, they're not commenting at all. You just get the, handful of shitheads that are just going to cry and whine and just yell about everything, who are like having these battles on Facebook. He showed me an example today of a post from McDonald's. They posted a picture of a Big Mac with, some kind of slogan. And people just crapped all over it, saying, well, I heard you dye the meat in ammonia and whatever. It's like, really? Why are you even on the McDonald's Facebook page, you idiot?
If you ever want to see how low human interactions can go, you go to YouTube comments. Mm-hmm. It's the dread of humanity.
Or you play Xbox Live.
Xbox Live, yeah. I mean, that's a little younger age, but YouTube, all you get is conspiracy theorists about 9/11, about whatever, atheists and theists yelling at each other, and it'll be like dinosaurs in 3D, and it'll be like, well, a dinosaur didn't exist, right? Moved 6,000, and then people just yelling.
Well, and it
has nothing to do with what's on the screen.
And it goes from 0 to go fuck yourself in no time.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, why did you die? I hate you.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
I can't stand it. So, but it makes me
killed somebody.
All right, easy. Let's get some original material. No. But it bothers me so much because I see these WWE things, the advertisements for the Ultimate Warrior, the advertisements for the American Badass. Like, well, you should have included this Undertaker and blood. Like, shut up.
Well, we haven't seen American Badass Undertaker in a long time, so I thought that was pretty cool. Actually, I'm kind of excited.
I'm of the type where I just like, look, I'm happy with whatever they do. I don't care.
Yeah.
They put in a lot of work and a lot of effort, and all you do is sound ungrateful and stupid. When you like, they posted one about JBL being in the game. Like, great, but the photo of him that they used, albeit I agree with them, it doesn't really look like him. But people just shit all over THQ for this has to be by far the worst face you've ever. Shut up.
Well, THQ isn't.
I'm sorry.
It's defunct now. It's 2K Sports.
Sorry. You should be... Fuck, you're just as bad as those commenters. I'm sorry. I'm really heated about this, and I know...
I can tell.
We can make this better.
You've been more heated about this Golberg in WWE.
We can make this... We can make this better, one internet comment at a time.
Yeah.
I mean, when you see that, you guys just look like a-holes whenever you do that. You look like a-holes. You look like you have no life, no existence.
Sound like Jay and Bob at the end of.
But if you think about it,
Bob Strike Back.
If you think about it, and my friend Matt, who I was having this conversation with today, he brought up a good point about Twitter. He's like, that's why I hate seeing. And this is his words, and I agree with him. That's why I hate seeing actors and athletes or celebrities getting in fights on Twitter with people, because maybe 90% of the comments aimed at these people are negative, but that doesn't mean that 90% of the people who follow them are doing it. It's just because, if you're a fan of, say Goldberg's on Twitter and you just say, hey Bill, you're awesome, love your stuff, blah blah blah, he's not going to reply to you and say, oh thanks Matt. But if somebody says, hey Goldberg, you suck dick, he's going to reply to that guy. Maybe. Chances are.
Sometimes. Actually, after I went to Comic-Con, Kevin Smith had tweeted out a trailer that his company is putting out for this movie, and I replied to it. I'm like, Kevin, I saw this trailer on Saturday night at Comic-Con. It looks incredible. It was so great to see you at Hall H. It was a dream come true or something like that. And he favorited it.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, wow, that's pretty fucking cool, you know? Like, one of my heroes liked something that I did, and he wanted to save it. Like, that made me feel pretty good. But Kevin is a good example. He blocks anyone who says anything negative ever. He's like, this is my feed. It's not yours. You're not hijacking it. If you don't want to be positive and bring positive energy, get out. Like, that's about it. So that's kind of what's nice about Twitter. You can block people.
Yeah. I just don't like the people who will retweet, and I hate this word, and I'm using it to be a dick. Haters. I hate that. I hate it.
I do like when Ricky Gervais does it.
I do hate it when people are actually being criticized constructively, and they're like, oh, haters.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody is like saying something about, I'm using LeBron James as an example. I think he gets hated on too much, and I'm again using air quotes when I say that. But if somebody's being constructively critical of somebody and they're like, oh, you're just hating. No, I'm just, giving you my feedback. But if you're just going to be like, oh, go bleep yourself, well, then there's no need for that. No. There's no need for that at all.
No, not at all.
But I don't like when people will retweet negativity, like as in their way to, like it's their way to say, like, oh, see, it doesn't bother me. But all you're doing is you're giving those people a bigger audience.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, people like me might see it and be like, well, that guy's a dickhole. I mean, I don't know, but it bothers me, as you can tell. But anyway, Golberg in the game.
I'm very excited about
Golberg needs to be in this game. And
it's been 10 years since he's been in a video game.
Well, really?
Yeah.
What was the last one? Was it WrestleMania 19? Because here's where I'm going with this. WrestleMania 19 for the GameCube. I'm going to, after this podcast...
WrestleMania 20, wouldn't it be? He wrestled in 20.
He could have been in the 20 game. That came out for Xbox, WrestleMania 20, and it was an absolute abortion of a game. It was terrible.
Yeah.
But I have WrestleMania 19 for the GameCube, and that has, I think, pound for pound, the greatest active roster in the history of games.
It was right at the end of the Attitude Era, leading into the...
Yeah, I mean, you had Goldberg, Lesnar, Undertaker, Rock, Austin, Hulk Hogan, the Hurricane, Ric Flair, all these guys, and they were all on, and Goldberg, Scott Steiner, they were all on the active roster. And I want a game like that again where, okay, if these guys are never going to be on the active roster again collectively, but give us the best of the best.
Yeah.
And I've said it before to you. I don't know if we've said it on here. Maybe we did when we were drafting guys. But I just want a game where give me the basic gameplay. I don't need 70,000 modes. I don't need, I don't need a 7-man Hell in a Cell or, an Inferno match. I don't need all that garbage. Just give me all the guys you've ever had in the game. That's all I want. All of the guys.
The problem is the licensing and the money and the likeness fees.
I think they could probably pull that off, though.
I think it'd be awesome.
If you just give me bare bones, all I want, singles match, tag match, maybe a triple threat match,
Extreme Rules.
And we don't need a cage. We don't need all that other shit. Just give me that, but give me a gazillion guys to choose from. But no, Goldberg. I'm glad he's going to be in the game because he was the man in WCW versus NWO Revenge
and World. Was he? No, he wasn't
in World Tour.
He was in Revenge.
Yeah, he wasn't in World Tour. And when it was like cheating when you could be him in Revenge.
I would just spear guys until they were not living anymore. Like just spear after spear, and then do his little. It wasn't even like it was just.
My greatest victory came, I think, in '98 or '99 when I was Scott Norton and I outlasted Goldberg, played by my friend Ryan Kresge, who is pretty much my equal at that game. We were, I mean, it was a Hogan Macho Man like rivalry, and or for the kids, a Cena Punk like rivalry, and he dominated me, and I think he jackhammered me 3 times, and I kicked out each time. Although I think one of the times he jackhammered me twice in a row because that's the most you could get off consecutively. But I kicked out of the second one, and then he did it a third time later, and I kicked out, and then I beat him I knocked him out with Scott Norton. Nice. It was so sweet. That was awesome.
It's a good day for Jim.
He was in disbelief. He could not believe it.
Well, yeah, I'm very excited. I mean, the first guy I download every year is Goldberg because I just love the crap out of the guy. But the big news was that he said he was open for a return, and He's 47 years old now. If we see him come back, I mean, Ryback is the obvious feud to have, but he said he's wanted matches against Stone Cold, matches against The Undertaker.
Did he ever fight Austin when he was back? I didn't think so.
That was the match that I remember my buddy Aaron was a Stone Cold guy and I was a Goldberg guy, and we went to WCW together when it was at the Deck. And we had like a long debate over who would win. And I'm like, dude, Goldberg's undefeated. Like, no one beats Goldberg. How is Stone Cold going to beat Goldberg? And I wasn't a WWF fan at the time. And like, I want to see that match. That was they were each the head of each company. They looked the same. They had the goatee. They were bald.
Black trunks.
And
I think that's why Goldberg ended up changing to those MMA-style trunks, was to... I'm sure WWE said, you can't wear the Austin stuff.
Yeah.
You got to change it up. That's great, but in a WWE setting, Austin's winning every time, because Vince would never in a million years make his guy look weaker than a WCW guy. I mean, you look at the way they jobbed Scott Steiner over and over to Triple H when he returned.
You'd think that, but when Goldberg came back in 2003, who did he take out right away?
The Rock.
And he won the championship off of The Rock.
But that's different, because The Rock was on the active roster at that time. Stone Cold, it'd be a one-shot deal. They would never have him lose that match.
Yeah. But I mean, I would love to see another match from Goldberg, another run.
I don't want to see him fight Ryback though, because you got to have him beat Ryback, and what good would burying Ryback do now, losing to a 47-year-old Bill Goldberg?
I don't know. You can't. Ryback would actually have to go over, I think. In order, otherwise, why would you have that match if you're just gonna destroy Ryback? But yeah, that's big Goldberg news. I was very excited about it.
That's cool. That's very cool. So what did he say about Ryback?
What did he say? I think he said the chants were unfair, because they're different athletes. I mean, he still thinks that Goldberg really thinks he's a superior athlete to Ryback, better performer, and I think it's obvious he is. He ran through WCW. He was an athletic freak. I mean, Ryback does what he can, and obviously he's a strong dude, but Goldberg was on another level. He was an NFLer. He was.
The only problem, this is just rehash. I mean, he was so kind of reckless in the ring.
Well, yeah.
But
it's because he's so strong.
Yeah, so strong. But I know he's your guy, and I loved Goldberg. I'm a WWE guy, WWF back then, and Goldberg was one of the few redeeming qualities that WCW had for me as a viewer.
Yeah, for sure. News number 2. 17 minutes into the show. All right, WrestleMania packages go on sale Monday. Are you coming with us, Jimmy?
I would love to, but I don't know if I could swing it with the time off and everything, and the money. I got some things I need to pay for in 2014 that it would make it tough.
Licorice. Lots of licorice.
Yeah, lots of Twizzlers.
Yeah. I'm a Nibs guy.
I'm a Twizzlers, not a Red Vines guy. Unless Red Vine wants to sponsor us, then I'm totally a Red Vine guy.
We love Red Vines too.
They're delicious. I can't commit. At least I can't commit to packages that go on sale Monday. Unless you want to pop for me, I'll. If you want to
get on an installment plan, or
no, you just gift
just gift me. All right. Well, I don't think so. Yeah, they start at $795 and go up from there.
What will that get you? Nosebleed seats?
No, those will get you primo seats for Mania, Hall of Fame, and a ticket to Access. No Raw though.
Yeah, boo.
About $1,000 for Raw. Plus another night at the hotel.
They're not going to have Raw at the Superdome, are they?
I don't know.
I hope not, because that would totally kill it. That would totally ruin the whole buzz thing.
But yeah, so Raw, or the packages, me and Chafee talked it over because we do plan on going. We're not going to get the travel package. We're going to buy our stuff individually.
Okay.
Later on, October, November. So you still have some time to think about it.
That would be a little better.
Yeah. So yeah, you can check that out. They're going on sale on Monday if you want to go to WrestleMania. I highly recommend it at least once in your life. It was awesome last year, even though it wasn't the greatest Mania. It was still a fun time. New news about Kane. See No Evil 2 is going into production.
Oh my God, Jacob Goodnight's coming back.
I haven't watched the first one.
I've never seen the first one either.
Was that Jacob Goodnight? Was that his name in the movie?
Yeah, that's his character's name. Going back to the WrestleMania thing, I'd love to go to a WrestleMania, but I'm more of a likes to sit at home and watch the thing on TV guy. With all of that stuff.
I am too, but it was such a fun time, and WrestleMania 30 just seems like the one to go to, you know?
Oh, but then you'll say that about 35, or you'll say that about 40, or you'll say that about, one that's somewhere. I don't know. If the Vikings Stadium gets a WrestleMania, I will definitely go. But
what about Chicago or Detroit?
I don't know. The only way I can go to a sporting event and feel fulfilled, given all of the money it costs to go. I mean, you're talking travel. In this case, air, hotel, food, parking, all that stuff. The only way I would feel fulfilled is if it was to see my team win Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, or win a Stanley Cup, win a World Series, win an NBA championship, although I couldn't see myself ever attending an NBA Finals because I just don't care enough, although I wish the Timberwolves would win. Other than that, I just feel like a kid, like a guy who just like maybe spent the whole night with a girl dry humping and then going home. I don't know. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, you'd feel like, oh, that was fun, but I'd just be thinking about all the money I spent.
Really?
Yeah, and I'd be like, oh, I could have just stayed home and watched it on TV for $50.
See, to me, like, I went to games 161 with the Twins. And
you mean 163?
Or yeah.
You went to the second to last game of the regular season?
Yeah, it was great.
Wow.
No, I went to game 163 for the Twins in 2009. And that experience would have been so much different if I had watched it on TV.
That's a clinching game, though. You're talking about a clinching game.
Well, yeah, I mean, but this is WrestleMania.
But
the experience of being there outweighs.
But here's the thing: if they said, Jimmy, you can book it, then yes. But to me, I've never seen a pay-per-view where every match has gone the way I've wanted, or it lived up to its potential, or the matchup has been, like I was thinking while I was watching Raw today on DVR, if the Wyatt family ever interrupted the Shield, I would lose my mind. But I don't think it'll ever happen. At least not for a long time.
Not right now.
And likely the Shield will be disbanded before the Wyatt family ever gets a chance to do that. But if they did something like that, I'd go crazy. But I don't know.
So, well, I mean, if you go to World Series Game 7, you don't know who's going to win that game either. You get to go home disappointed.
Well, that's true.
See,
that's
true. At least with WrestleMania, you're going to go home with a good show regardless.
But the odds are, though, I would at least have a good experience, and I could say, I was at that game when Team X won the World Series. I could say that, where it'd be like, I was at that WrestleMania where The Miz won. Against John Cena.
That kind of sucks. But I mean, there's trade-offs for everything. You could say that. I mean, I could.
And actually,
when you go to when you go out to the bar at night, you could just stay home and watch TV,
which I often do.
Yeah, but the experience of the bar and having fun with your friends and stuff outweighs not spending money and not going.
We're also, for those of you under 21, we're not condoning going out to the bar like it's glorious and glamorous.
Yeah,
it's not.
It's okay.
It's lame.
Yeah, it's the worst.
But for me, when it comes to like a WrestleMania event, it'd have to be I guess in support of your argument, there are so many other things now during WrestleMania week, and that's what it is now. It's a week.
It's an experience.
I would look at it like you did, where, hey, I got to go to Access, or I got to go to, the WrestleCon that was there.
Yeah.
And that would be, I guess, WrestleMania
the Raw
itself.
After Mania was worth a trip alone.
The Raw After Mania, count me in.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. But I mean, it's easier to think about one Raw, which isn't certainly not the case when it comes to Raw After Mania, because it's not like you just buy one ticket for that. But I just look at all the costs for an event like that and say, well, yeah, if I could swing it, that'd be great. But otherwise, I'm not going to break my back to make it happen, because I'd rather just watch it on TV.
Yeah. I don't know.
But that goes for all sports.
Yeah. How I justify it is I plan for it, I budget for it. I'm sacrificing other things along the road, but when I get there, it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
Because I get to live it up. I get to have the time of my life for like 4 or 5 days. I get to talk about it later on, get the experience. 50 years from now, I'm gathering these experiences. I just enjoy my time right now. I went to Comic-Con. Like, people are just insane when I tell them that, and they know what it's all about. Like, I'm like, yeah, I was there. They're like, what? Did you see something? I'm like, yeah, he's like 5 feet away from me. They just blows their mind that like someone they know went, because it seems like such a long, far away. But I love life, and I want to do something, and I want to have fun, and that to me is fun. So like, it's worth it to me. I look forward to it, and I plan it, and like my whole life, it's just like, oh, I can't wait till April, or I can't wait to go to Comic-Con, or I can't wait to go down to the cities for the pay-per-view, which I don't know if it's even assured yet, but
what?
Well, they haven't announced it yet.
You sucker.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like, the experiences to me are worth more than buying something at the store.
No, you're right. I'm not just talking about the money. I'm talking about dealing with the thousands of other idiots that are there. Not just WrestleMania. We'll talk about going to a Twins game. I hate when there are drunk people around me acting like assholes. I'd rather sit at home and watch it than deal with that. Dealing with parking, dealing with getting in and out, dealing with anybody around you who you find annoying. It's just so much easier to go home, watch it on TV, have an announcer tell you what's going on instead of sometimes wondering. But certainly I've been at those games and they're fun, and I'd like to go to a Mania, but for me, I prefer to watch my sports at home. I prefer to watch movies at home instead of going to a theater. I like going to theaters, certainly, but it's a gamble every single time, because there might be somebody dicking with their phone. There might be somebody being annoying. When I'm at home, I'm guaranteed to just not have anybody bother me. So I like that. But no, you're certainly right for going to WrestleMania and wanting to go to this next one. And maybe I will join you, or maybe I'll join you for a future one.
I really hope you do, because I think...
You just want to sleep in the same bed, that's all.
You're on to me, Jimmy. Maybe I'll be on to you later.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, well, so yeah, See No Evil 2 is coming out. It will probably suck.
It will, I'm sure. WWE films.
All right, I want to get into Total Divas now. Episode 2 just aired on Sunday. You finally caught up with the first episode. What did you think of the first episode?
The first episode, I liked the second episode better. First episode, of course, they had to kind of lay it out for everybody, especially any of the
the origin fans. Story,
Yeah, of course. The thing I didn't like about both episodes is they've somehow turned they've turned newbie into a word. Newbie is not a word. But they've made it into a word now, and they're showing this Eva Marie and JoJo. They're like, oh, newbie WWE divas. No, you could just say new or rookie.
We used to on Scrubs. Yeah. Dr. Cox always called them newbie.
You can call, but it's not an actual word, and they're saying it all the time. It's written in text below the person's name.
Oh, really? Like title?
It says newbie WWE diva.
Wow.
Newbie's not a word, but again, our text messaging generation is going to, think it's real. But I don't like. I don't know, the complete absence of some of the other people, like Oksana, Caitlyn, and then they have these two women who, up to this point, really have had nothing to do with WWE television, nothing at all. And that Eva Marie, okay, we'll get to that. But episode 1, episode 1 was all right. It was good to see. It's actually been good to see the Bellas and find out what each one is about, because before Nikki got breast implants, I couldn't tell them apart. I didn't know who was who.
I do not like Nikki as a person.
Well,
I prefer Brie. I think Brie's a great person.
I hesitate to say something like that because you don't know how much of this is manufactured.
That's true.
I will say this. Brie Bella is coming off amazing on this, on these first 2 episodes. And it's not just because she has the more modest lifestyle that they're showing with Bryan Danielson. And Nikki, of course, is with the uber successful John Cena.
John Cena.
The only thing I had a problem with is that Daniel Bryan will be making oodles of money very, very, very soon. So they need to stop making it look like he's forced to live in his childhood home in Aberdeen, Washington. Dude's going to be swimming in some fucking cash if he isn't already.
He's doing okay.
Yeah.
He's probably making a few million.
But Brie Bella, she's based on this show, totally more my speed.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, I want their life in San Diego. Like, I always wanted to live in San Diego even before I went there. Like, I always thought that was, like, the ideal place to live. It's 75 all the time. Yeah. And they just live in an apartment, they walk their little dog, and they have nice food, and they hang out together. That seems like the life to me. So,
episode 1, this is under the assumption that some of it is still staged, of course, where they're like, here, let's create a conflict and you work through this. But it confirms my suspicions about how some of the people get shit on. And an example is with Natty Neidhart. I mean, she is, and I said it last week, she's the best wrestler there out of the women. I think she looks bleeping fantastic. And for them to say that, this Eva Marie, you need to dye your hair blonde because somebody will mistake you for a Bella. What? I understand that some wrestling fans are complete morons.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody would say, oh, she looks like a Bella because she has similar colored hair. That's just absurd. It's insulting. It's insulting to the fans.
Blonde, and she's like this dark-skinned, and Italian.
Also to see how many people have their grubby mitts in it, where they're like, oh, you need to go talk to so-and-so for this, and so-and-so for this. It's like, it's really not wrestling. And Matt Stryker was on Colt Cabana's podcast this past week, The Art of Wrestling, and he said, William Regal told him years ago that WWE is not a wrestling organization. It's an entertainment organization. And the sooner you figure that out, the easier it will be. Because really, I mean, wrestling is certainly not the focus. And we know that. We are aware of that.
We buy into it,
They still have too many people doing things that it makes you just want to pull your hair out. And I mean, I think her name is Jane. She's the new executive vice president. Yeah, she's like the new talent relations person.
Talent relations, yeah.
She does not come across as someone good on this, I don't think. Or that Mark Carano or whatever his name is, her kind of number 2 guy.
The red hair is good. I mean, don't least, ever do that again.
At least they don't strike me as people who know about wrestling. They're just like, oh, here's 2 people we hired to work here and kind of do whatever we're going to have them do. Second up, do we want to
episode
go to
2? Yeah, absolutely.
First episode 2. Also, first episode. That Ariane Cameron, she does not come across as good. The whole boyfriend thing, him backstage, like, again, that might be manufactured later, but like that guy, it's like, get a clue. Do you watch wrestling?
I don't know. Do you know who Brodus Clay is?
Well, yeah, do you? and that bugged me. Second episode though, with Eva Marie
trying to be Fandango's dancer.
A couple things wrong with this.
Yeah.
Unless they told her, look, do you just pretend to do this, or like, let's make this a conflict. Let's have you say that you're a dancer, but you're not really. Okay, I'll give him a pass. But if she actually tried to pull that, 1, I would have fired her instantly.
Yeah.
I'd be like, who in the fuck do you think you are? Get out of here. 2, if I was her dumbass, I would have been on YouTube looking up ballroom dancing steps and looked up all of Fandango's entrances.
She just, winged it.
And not even winged it. She didn't even try. I mean, it was awful. I mean, if you're anybody with half of a brain, you would YouTube all of Fandango's entrances up to that point and find the dance steps, and you do that.
I love when they're like to Fandango, they're like, "You want to try it again?" He's like, "Nah, bro, it's good."
Yeah, so I like the show.
Ava Marie also got engaged during the show.
Yeah.
To her boyfriend of like 2 months.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, and she immediately takes her ring off and goes to hang out with Fandango at the club. Thought that was interesting. Fandango trying to put the moves on her. I really like the Bellas and Cena and Daniel Bryan kind of doing the trading spaces kind of deal, where they spent a week or a few days in Tampa at John Cena's mansion and his nice cars and top of the line, and then they head to Aberdeen, Washington for Daniel Bryan's hometown, and they were chopping wood and they had a contest. I really like that dynamic. I really like seeing behind the scenes of their life. I find that interesting. But then who else did they have on this week? What else happened this week on Divas?
The Funkadactyls got new outfits.
They were doing the outfits, and the booty meat was hanging out for what's her face? But
Trinity,
Naomi.
That's the other thing too. Is I don't even know if they've even said, "Hi, I'm Trinity. I play Naomi." They haven't mentioned what their stage names are. So that to me is a little.
I really do not like weird. Cameron. I think she's.
And you confused me last week. I hadn't seen that show yet, and you said that she was 19. I think you meant that JoJo girl's 19. Because when you said Cameron Ariane was 19, I'm like, really?
She's got to be like 23. I would guess. Okay, we need to get into Raw though. So that was Divas. It was okay. I'm gonna watch next week. That's the best review I can give it. Stephanie McMahon kicked off Raw. Calls out Daniel Bryan, who has a new suit. He got his new makeover. He has his hair in a ponytail and he's brushed his teeth or whatever. He says that even after the makeover, the company would still prefer John Cena though, because Cena can still sell t-shirts to the fans and stuff they don't need. But he says he can beat John Cena because Cena is an entertainer, but Daniel Bryan is a wrestler. Says he will make Cena tap out, and while he's saying this, he was interrupted by the chairman of the board, Vince McMahon. Vince comes out and bashes Bryan again. He did last week as well, and says Bryan needs to shave to finish off his makeover and get his support to become the new WWE champion. They bring out a barber's chair. Daniel Bryan starts a no chant while this is happening, and Wade Barrett for some reason comes out to shave Daniel Bryan. I didn't really understand that, but he comes out. Bryan attacks and ends up shaving Barrett's beard instead. And to end the segment, he debuts the "Beard is Here" shirt, spoofing John Cena's "The Champ is Here" shirt.
Just like the makeover, that whole bit was done half-heartedly.
Ugh.
I mean, if you're gonna have a corporate makeover or whatever, you're going to give the guy a haircut and you're going to shave his face.
Yeah.
So to have him come out with that dirty ponytail and that beard was ridiculous in the first place. And then to have a guy like, why Wade Barrett?
I don't know.
That made no sense at all. At least have a guy who has no facial hair or something. It was ridiculous. It's just, it came across as very PG, very lame, and just half-hearted.
Yeah, it bummed me out because Bryan deserves better angle for his main event run than, you need to shave. It really bummed me out. I thought it was a poor start to Raw, even though the crowd was into it because they love Daniel Bryan.
You know what bummed me out about the whole thing is that they did the whole anti-shaving thing because I want him to get rid of that beard.
I do too.
I really do. I think he looks awful.
Yeah.
And I remember watching highlights of him from his indie days, and he had the hair just like he has now, but he had a clean-shaven face.
Burn it off.
It just... I'm sure...
He needs the beard that you got right now. Just the short, coiffed, good to go, just a little...
Think so?
Little stubble, yeah.
Think so?
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
But if they're doing this just to sell the Beard is Here t-shirts, that's weak, because they just debuted the Respect the Beard,
which was an awesome shirt.
Like, 3 weeks ago? 4 weeks ago? And I like that shirt.
Yeah, I do. I do as well. Our first match of the night was RVD versus ADR. Battle of the Initials. Christian was scouting the match from backstage, and I love that shot. They always have them. They're always in full ring gear, and they're shirtless, and they're standing at the TV like, this is very interesting stuff. I gotta watch this.
Yeah, get them a TV in the locker room or something. I love they're in that like hallway area.
Yeah, they should have like a chalkboard with the ring on it, and they hit X's and O's and stuff.
And sit farther back. You're gonna hurt your eyes.
Exactly. It's the most ridiculous. Ooh, Christian's scouting the match. Like, that's gonna help. Del Rio actually lost the match after he hit his dome on Rodriguez's bucket, and Rodriguez had tried to like use it to interfere, backfired on
we had a mini botchamania because the bucket initially fell, and made a noise, but referee didn't even hear it.
I know.
Didn't even look.
Ends up getting rolled up by RVD. Del Rio then viciously attacks Ricardo Rodriguez. Following the match, he hits him with the bucket, smashes him between the steel steps, and the ring post.
That was a visit to the woodshed.
Yeah.
Even the steel steps bump looked
rough.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Del Rio, his combination of not taking it easy on people and Rodriguez's ability to bump made it look really nasty.
Yeah, even that first kick to the head looked really bad, or whatever he did to start it. I can't remember.
No, I'm assuming this breaks them up.
I don't know.
I mean, he's beaten him before, but not to this extent. I'm guessing he's letting him go. I'm guessing, but I don't know.
We'll see. Kind of a lame match. Botchamania happened. I don't really understand why RVD's in that match. I mean, he was in the number one contender match, but I don't know. I feel like they're wasting RVD's return. I don't know what they're going to do with him.
I keep comparing it to Jericho just because everything I read was that he was going to have a Jericho-like schedule.
Yeah.
And Jericho toiled for a little bit, but then they'd kind of throw him a bone with those championship matches every once in a while, especially those ones that involved multiple competitors. They'll probably do that with him.
Yeah.
But RVD, to me, I was quickly reminded, to me, RVD's like, it's kind of like that girl you dated, and then you broke up, and then you started to kind of miss her, but you only thought of the good things and the good times, and then you guys get back together, and you're like, quickly you're reminded why you broke up in the first place. I remember just yawning during most RVD matches, because it's the same shit. It's rolling thunder, it's a couple kicks, it's a couple flips, frog splash, and all right, we're done.
Yep.
But now, because he's a step slower, and he has an upper body like me, he does nothing for me.
Yeah.
I like RVD. I like him.
I like RVD too. And he's been okay. He's had a couple okay matches, but I'm expecting more. Cody Rhodes comes out next. He has Sandow's damp briefcase. Like it wouldn't have dried off since he threw it in the river.
Covered in seaweed.
2 weeks ago. It's still wet for some reason. Uses it to draw out Damien Sandow and attack. I thought it was a lame segment.
Yeah.
Very Saturday morning cartoons kind of stuff.
Everything involving Cody as a babyface has been terrible.
Yeah,
which makes me think they're probably going to make him a heel again. I think it's due to the, I don't want to say lack of chemistry between Sandow and Rhodes, because they were great as a team, but it doesn't feel authentic because you want to boo both guys still. Rhodes hasn't done anything.
He's done nothing
babyface
to make me want to cheer for. I mean, it was so great at Money in the Bank. Mm-hmm. The crowd was behind him. People were like, "Yeah, go Cody!" It's a perfect opportunity to turn him face. Mm-hmm. Sandow screws him over. Perfect feud to set up, and it's just been
it's been sophomoric. It hasn't been. This is a feud that needs ruthless aggression. No, it needs physicality. It needs good matches. It needs. I don't want to sit and listen to both of them talk back and forth. And also, I hope they saddle Sandow with that briefcase, just like Dolph had the cracked briefcase for so long.
Yeah.
I hope they make him walk around with that waterlogged,
and that's
seaweed
come out every time. It'll be dripping, because God forbid it, it ever evaporates.
But no, I think Rhodes is a victim of circumstance right now. I do not hold him responsible for maybe the lack of the response by me or the lack of the response from the crowd. I think he just needs to be put into a better feud, or this one needs to have the intensity ramped up.
Yeah, it could be a good feud. It's just, his briefcase
I'm excited for the match.
Wet. Yeah, me too.
But put the briefcase on the line. That would be sweet.
There you go. Yeah. Our next match was a WrestleMania 29 rematch between Ryback and Mark Henry.
Oh, I couldn't wait for that one.
Yep. It was terrible. Ryback ducks away from Henry and leaves the ring to be counted out. I thought it was a Fandango match because that's how Fandango ends every one of his matches, but that was about it. Nothing really happened.
These are two guys currently in mid-card purgatory. There's really nothing for them. Henry had all that momentum, and it came to a screeching halt after that.
After John Cena.
Yeah, I mean, even before the Cena match, I mean, just the week after week of the same garbage promo really slowed him, and I mean, that's why they had to put the belt on him. They really did.
Yeah. Well, I think they were stuck because they knew they wanted Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Same thing that happened with WrestleMania, where they were stuck in a holding pattern, and Ryback kind of got screwed over.
But to give Ryback this, I don't know, this wuss gimmick or this, I'm a playground bully who's just gonna not care about anything. I don't understand it. You could have him destroying people again, and they just choose not to. I don't know.
He needs a dancing gimmick is what he needs, I think.
They don't have enough dancers in WWE.
He could join Tons of Funk. That'd be a lot of tonnage. They take on the Shield.
Tons of Funk. Oh, Tensai's still my guy.
Is he still champ?
Still the world heavyweight champion.
Wow, long time. John Cena comes out next, and this I thought was the best part of Raw. Yes, Andy, I said that. The best part of Raw.
Why'd you call me Andy?
I was talking to Andy, our listener.
Oh.
Yes.
I was like, what?
Because
I was trying to think of what movie you stole that from.
No, Andy McKinnon, former guest, is a huge John Cena fan, and he always gets on me because I tend to criticize Cena maybe a little bit unfairly.
Andy, your love affair with John Cena is borderline disturbing.
It's unnatural, but it's illegal now. John Cena comes out and just destroys on the mic. I thought it was one of his best promos in a long, long time. Says he is the man and loves wrestling as much as Daniel Bryan. His elbow really does look like a football. Did you see that?
Yeah,
I've never noticed that before. It's like a boulder in his elbow. I'm like, oh my god. He says he's put his body on the line and he shows his elbow. Cena makes some really great points about how Bryan's past doesn't mean squat if you can't do it on the big stage, the WWE.
I had a problem with him saying that Bryan's right. If I get fired today, I'll never wrestle a match again or whatever. Really, dude? That's how much you love wrestling. You're never going to wrestle again. I understand his point that he's saying he loves WWE so much that nothing else matters to him. But to me, he came across as the guy that everybody hates.
Well, it was kind of a heel promo. It almost felt like that. Boring chants started as he was talking, which I didn't understand because I was like, wow, I can't believe he's saying a lot of this stuff. But he played it up.
Green Bay was weird.
Yeah, Green Bay was a weird crowd. Here are my notes. Boring chants ensues, but this is a great Cena promo. I'm like defending him in my notes. Orton's music.
He even did his Marky Mark voice for a little bit.
Yeah.
His mean Bostonian accent came out.
Orton, his music hit, and he made his way to the ring. And he says that Bryan isn't Cena's only concern. He's missing out on what could be like the real, monster in the closet, I suppose. The Shield then interrupts and surrounds the ring around Cena and Orton. And Daniel Bryan comes running to their help to even the odds. And, of course, Brad Maddox pulls his Teddy Long impersonation and turns it into a 6-man tag match for our main event.
We did not get enough Maddox on this night.
That was about it.
And he was great when he was in. And he was great on SmackDown last Friday. I can't stop gushing about Brad Maddox.
I think Brad Maddox should have come out and been like, hold up there, players. Everyone's waiting for that. I thought
that would have been great.
That would have been awesome. That set up our main event. Tons of Funk versus the Rowan and Harper.
Was not the main event, but
no, was next. Match breaks down quickly, and the Wyatts win after a big splash. It was kind of like a Ultimate Warrior splash from one of the Wyatts. I still don't know who's who.
Eric Rowan is the bald redhead with the beard.
Eric
Rowan.
Rowan.
Not to be confused with your favorite baseball player, Aaron Rowan. who I think was a staple on your fantasy team in the mid-2000s. And then the other one is Luke Harper, the big guy who looks like a mutated Josh Groban.
Gotcha. So I think it was Rowan who did the big splash.
Yeah, he did.
Okay. Like Ultimate Warrior back in the day.
Yes.
Bray enters the ring afterwards and gives Brodus the Wyatt Plex.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called.
And cuts a promo on Kane. So they're still going with that angle. And Kane, his flames hit, and Kane says that he likes the Wyatt's way of doing things, but he says that they do them for the wrong reason. They do them for a purpose. He just does them because he likes to do them. You know? And that it says that he's going to show them how much he likes to do these things at SummerSlam. And he teases a possible Inferno match.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting, is an Inferno match. And unless his allegiance changes in this match, I don't care.
Yeah.
I can't possibly care. And if you want to give Bray Wyatt a good person to feud with out of the gate, it's not Kane. So
no,
they still have my attention, but I'm not excited about that match.
I think it would be interesting. Like, is he facing just Bray, or is he taking on all three? Or?
I'm guessing it's just Bray.
Yeah.
I mean, because this way, how are the other guys going to interfere?
Yeah.
They won't be able to with the ring on fire. One thing that I think they're working out the kinks in or with is the Wyatt family entrance for matches. It was very disconnected to have the place go black and then the music suddenly stop and the lights come on for the start of a match when they're expected. So it doesn't really work. I don't really think you need the lights out for that. It just seemed like, because at first I thought, they come back from commercial. You don't see tons of funk enter.
Yeah.
You just the show comes back with the four dancing in the ring.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the Wyatts come. The Wyatts come, and I think, oh, they're going to interfere. When the lights come back on, I expect them to be in some situation where maybe all four of them are in, and they're just gonna sneak attack or fight or whatever. And then it's like, oh, there's a match. It just it seemed weird that you would enter for a match like that, or that Justin Roberts wouldn't announce them as they're coming to the ring. I don't know. I think they'll work out the bugs, though.
I agree.
It did look a little disjointed.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh boy, they're going to just beat them down, and it was like, ding, ding, ding. Oh, okay.
Yeah, a little weird.
Well, let's go. Our token Divas match of the night was Caitlyn versus a recently heel-turned Layla, who took sides with AJ on SmackDown this week and cost Caitlyn her match against AJ. Caitlyn was pretty much dominating. When AJ's music hit, of course, following the distraction, Layla hits the bombshell, as she calls it. It's just a kick to the head for the win. AJ and Layla then skip around the ring following the match, and they're both evil together.
Yeah, I could not care less. Layla does nothing for me.
She actually looked pretty good in the match. She pulled off some good stuff. I was pleasantly surprised, but yeah, she has very little charisma on the mic.
Yeah,
because she's I don't think English is it English or
she's from England.
England.
I think she was born in London.
Oh, and
she I think lived. I don't know if she moved here in her teens, but she was a former Miami Heat cheerleader, I think. So I mean, she's been in the States for a while or whatever. But yeah, she's from the UK.
Huh. Well, yeah, they're obviously still extending the Caitlyn AJ feud. Eventually, Caitlyn's going to win that belt back, but as of now, AJ's still holding it down.
There's just not enough divas in the mix, in the title mix, or not even in the title mix, in the wrestling mix to care. No. Like, why is Natalya not involved in a title mix or a title match?
Natalya wasn't even on Total Divas this week. Did you even see her?
She was briefly. She was backstage at a Raw with the girls, and she's like, "Do you guys want to get something to eat?" So
then she farted and walked away.
Yeah.
Our next match was Christian versus Heath Slater. Christian wins with a spear out of nowhere, which is kind of cool to see. Not much more to add to that match. They're obviously keeping Christian strong for his one more match at SummerSlam.
Heath Slater can bump, and that was good to see for that match. But other than that,
I did. Hold on, okay. I look over and my partner here is looking at Layla's sexy photos online here. So Not bad.
I was confirming that she is 36 and from London.
And hot.
So
is that what you found out from those photos there? You found out that she's 36 and from London?
Right there, June 25th, 1977, date of birth, 5'2", Layla L. But Christian, I don't know. I hope he beats Del Rio, I guess, but
yeah. I think he's not gonna. They're gonna wait until Ziggler comes back,
Yeah.
and I think, anyways. CM Punk versus Curtis Axel.
Couple things. The promo Punk cut before the match, he fixed his hair. I was ripping on his hair last week. His hair looked, I think, the best I've ever seen it.
Best ever.
Yeah.
Wow.
It looked very good. So if you guys still have it on your DVRs, go back and
Maybe
look at
Vidal Sassoon must have gotten in there.
it. It looked good. Okay.
All right, so Punk tries to get to Heyman, start of the match, but Curtis Axel stops him. And in my notes, I wrote, "Where the hell is Lesnar?" as this was happening. Well, Lesnar showed up. Punk attacks Heyman at the ringside during the match, but stops when Lesnar's music hits. Finally, I write, it's been weeks since we've seen Lesnar.
Yeah.
And leading up to SummerSlam, you need to have his presence there. You need to, and this was cool. Punk was really, really taking it to Lesnar and actually getting the better of him before Lesnar finally hit that suplex on him. And Punk was bloody. Did you see that?
I did.
Yeah.
It looked like his chin was bleeding.
Yeah.
This was the most intensity that I felt during that Raw.
Yeah, it was great.
Was this confrontation?
Yeah.
I even did a couple fast claps.
Punk went to attack Paul Heyman, but then Lesnar hit the F5, then absolutely destroys Punk with a chair. I mean, he did not hold back one iota.
I think he masked it pretty well because he did like the jumps.
Yeah.
So his 2 feet are hitting the canvas as the chair's hitting Punk's back. I think he did it 4 times. It looked really good. It looked really good.
Really painful.
And
well, if it didn't,
I'm one of the people who's very happy that they are no longer doing chair shots to the head.
Yeah.
I'm very glad to see it. So it takes some creativity to make the chair shots look legit. And I think Lesnar accomplished it.
we should get one chair shot or headshot a year.
No.
One a year.
One a year?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Well,
All it takes is one to permanently mess somebody up.
Well, one a year. They had one in the Triple H Undertaker match. Just like, because then you'd be like, whoa.
Well, okay, maybe they do that. Maybe because you're right about Triple H Undertaker, but I told you I cringe now. We were watching.
If you watch a Rumble match,
we were watching Payback, and what was that quote I said? It's like,
why do they do these things?
Why do they do these things? Or I can't believe they do these things.
I can't believe they do.
What was it? It was something
it was very close to that.
I can't watch now. I'll see Daniel Bryan take a triple powerbomb from the Shield, and I'll look to see if he hits his head on the canvas. And when I see the head hit the canvas, I feel terrible.
I agree. But watch Rock versus Mankind at Royal Rumble that one year.
Oh, far.
Like 17 times.
It's like 36 chair shots.
Well, to the head, yeah. It was rough.
Or was it 16?
But they can do one. They'll get their hands up. They'll be fine. Just
you take one.
Well, no.
What if that one chair shot a year is to you?
I'm fine if they're going to pay me.
But what if you'll die at 50?
Well, I'll probably die at 45 anyways.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know. I live too hard. I go to Comic-Con and stuff.
You live too hard? God.
Our next match was Fandango versus Kofi Kingston. A returning Kofi Kingston wins. That's about all I wrote about the match.
All I got from that was that during his time off, Kofi didn't do any leg exercises, hence the spandex pants he was wearing instead of his normal trunk shorts.
Well, that's duly noted. Steph is backstage, and she's crying because Vince is so mean, and he's... Triple H says Vince has lost it. He's lost his touch. He's no longer the creative genius, and if it's his last thing he'd do, he's going to wreck Vince's day, or I don't know what he said. But the foundations are laid for the Vince versus Triple H feud that is gonna kind of come to a head soon, I believe.
That, again, it kind of felt disjointed, and it seemed like they ramped up the intensity too quickly here, which made it look so cheesy.
Yeah.
But I'm making my prediction now. There's going to be a Vince versus Triple H match. Stephanie's going to be in the middle of it, and she's going to choose Vince over Triple H.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Damn. Our next match, Usos versus the Real Americans. One of your favorites. Cesaro got the pin after a neutralizer, and they made it seem like such a big deal that Jack Swagger like threw one punch, and like, oh, it cost him the match, because Swagger was on the outside. One of the Usos, Jimmy or Jay, went flying through the ropes, and he got punched in the face, and he stumbled back and got neutralized. And they're like, oh my god!
I need to reiterate, the referee did not see that cheap shot.
Yeah, well, he's in the match, wasn't he? Like, you're allowed to. I don't know. It was really weird.
Best part about this match was that at the start of it, Lawler said to JBL, when the Usos say, you say Us, how come you never say O? And, or how come you never say O's? That's the best part for me. That was awesome. Oh. And then JBL goes,
that's true.
I don't know. I like the Usos and their dad Rikishi. I'll say it next time.
Well, you can look forward to that, see if he follows through. Dolph Ziggler took on Big E Langston once again. Caitlyn comes out and attacks AJ during the match, which was the distraction that Big E needed to hit the big clothesline, and followed up with a big ending to get the victory, extending the feud again. Obviously, you can't have a clean win at this point for either of them.
They stressed in this match that Caitlyn blew it, or at least JBL did, that Caitlyn cost Dolph the match. Her interference is what did it. I'm calling a mixed tag match for SummerSlam with the women's title on the line. That's my prediction.
Interesting.
Because we've had Dolph v. I was calling him Bige Langston earlier today.
That'd be interesting
Langston.
Because then Ziggler can actually strip the belt off of AJ.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So
That's a good idea.
I'm thinking it'll be a mixed tag for the title at SummerSlam, because we've already had Langston and Ziggler twice now in a row.
Have you ever interviewed for like WWE Creative? Have you ever
once.
done that? I think you should try. Yeah, I think you might get an interview.
I'm available.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a really cool idea that I never thought of. So yeah,
light it up, light it up, light it up, light it tonight, light it up. She needs new music. She needs some kind of like Victoria style heelish music.
She needs like, hello, ladies.
Hands off the merchandise. Yeah. I know, a different song, but I just wanted to say hands off the merchandise.
Shield took on Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, and John Cena in our main event. I didn't like the match.
I didn't either. You came in while I was watching the end of it, and I'm done with these Shield manufactured 6-man tag matches.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh god, we gotta get 3 guys together to fight the Shield. How do we do it? Of course, at the end, Randy Orton teases a possible cash-in after giving a Rico, which I'm going to call it now, a Rico or an Ortonplex, to Daniel Bryan, and then Cena from out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And he's going to cash in. Shield come down to prevent the cash-in.
Or to beat him up.
They beat up everybody.
But Randy Orton sure took his time. Like, why can't you make it believable? Like, okay, he hits the RKO. Fucking get that thing, cash it in as quickly as possible. But he took his time, like he was coming down in the ring, and his entrance music.
It's like he was pondering it. Yeah. The only thing I can figure is maybe he thought he didn't plan on doing it that night, but he saw the situation in front of him and thought, oh, okay, now I will.
He thought very slowly.
Yeah. Well, he's got to listen to all those voices. That's the thing. When you hear voices in your head, you have to listen to them.
Yeah.
It takes time.
And the voices in his head are an Ent from Lord of the Rings.
Treebeard. They talk very slowly.
Everything we do is very slow.
You
Hobbit says
cash in.
Maybe. All right. So that was, I mean,
You
the
are
match.
a nerd.
Thank you, man. I thought it was a good analogy. You know?
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Freebird.
But yeah, so, you know, they come out, Shield spears John Cena. Ambrose stomps on Bryan, and Raw goes off the air as Orton watches all this as because he escaped, you know, from any injury. That was Raw.
You did forget about Natty slapping Brie Bella.
Yeah,
I'm teasing.
I didn't bother with it because I really cannot stand Ava Marie.
Yeah, here's to some. She'll be gone in no time. She has no redeeming qualities. She can't wrestle. Her and that JoJo have been wrestling it was a month around WrestleMania. They started wrestling like a month before training.
She's got no screen.
She's not a good actress.
She was terrible. Both times she's been on.
So once that show's done, she's gonzo. Yeah. But here's what we can take away from this week's episode. Raw was just okay. As I told you, it was nondescript is how I described it. Total Divas, way better than I expected it to be. What I like is I just like that inside look to see. I don't know how realistic it all is. I think we are seeing some genuine moments. My favorite times so far have to be like the Bellas and Cena Bryan interactions. We really haven't covered the others. The newbies, as they call them, which, by the way, please stop if you're listening right now. Stop calling them newbies. At least don't.
They're listening because they took the apostrophe out of the Usos.
At least don't. And they fixed Punk's hair this week.
And give us some money.
Yeah, and that. Yeah. Don't have newbie in text. I don't want to read the word newbie.
Okay, if that's gone by next week, I'm going to think you have like magic powers.
Next week might be too soon. I bet that one's already in the can and all set. So in 2 or 3 weeks, if they've made a change,
all right,
that will be confirmation.
All right.
Or maybe they won't change it at all because they've already done that thing. They've probably wrapped it all up and they're like, F it, it's not worth it. But we'll see. Maybe they won't mention newbie on Raw. Yeah. So Total Divas, I'm into it.
For sure.
I'm looking forward to seeing Natalya and Tyson Kidd interact.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that too.
Even Jimmy Uso, or John as his real name is, whatever, I can't remember his last name, but he and Trinity, just something. But yeah, Ariane, not a fan of. Nikki, not really a huge fan of. No. Brie Bella scoring major points in my book.
Thumbs up, big time.
And she's better looking on that show than she is on Raw.
I think they're both pretty.
Well,
they look very similar.
Yeah, they do. But I don't know. Brie just seems more.
Yeah, I mean, she seems like a real person.
Yeah, more authentic.
Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much our show. I do have one little announcement. We might be having some changes, like we told you last week, with going to the new website soon. We might have to give up our RSS feed that we have through Podbean at the moment. So we will be requiring all of our listeners who have subscribed through iTunes, through Podbean, whatever means you have subscribed to us, to resubscribe to us very shortly, and we will tell you how to do that, or when to do that. It will still be Podcast of the Immortals on iTunes, but it will be a new feed. You will have to go and click subscribe again. Give us a rating again if you haven't done so, or if you have, re-rate us so that we can get back up to the high ranks. Because right now we're pretty high ranked on iTunes. When you type in WWE, we're like in the top 10. So we're going to lose that standing for a while. So we need your help to get back. That's going to be happening probably in the next couple of weeks. So we'll let you know when that changes come over. If you want to up to the minute announcements, you can follow us on Twitter at Immortal Speakcast, at 97Bush, at Jimmy Bellamy, or you can follow us on Facebook. Just type in Podcast of the Immortals. You can find our fan page there. I know we got 35 now, which feels pretty special. So yeah, guys, thank you, and that's all we got for this week.
We'll continue to keep you posted on any changes, whether it's on future podcasts or on Twitter and on WordPress. Hope you guys enjoy the week, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, peace.